7/21/2014. There's two things I want to talk about in this video. One is the Israeli Air Force has struck Sudan. There's a weapons stockpile headed for Hamas. And we've talked about these different factions, Muslim factions, including ISIS, that are all moving in that direction. It says they reported the bombing of a warehouse of weapons occurred just hours after Israel accused Sudan of providing long-range rockets to Hamas. Now, the Sudanese officials tried to block this coming out of the news because it tied them in to Hamas, and they don't want to be blamed for it yet, although you're going to see many nations rise up in this effort, guys. And we've talked about the difference in this war in the past Israel conflicts, but it says the foreign reports have stated that Sudanese Foreign Minister Ali Karti recently said his country had received an Iranian offer for anti-aircraft defense systems to deal with Israeli attacks. So Russia wants to help them guard the supply route, but they refused because Iran wanted to place its own experts on the ground in the African country. Now, none of the news reports in that area are very trustworthy because they're very controlled. But it's getting like that worldwide. They're saying the Sudanese president met with Hamas political leader 2 weeks ago in Sudan. Sudanese officials claim that the blackout on the Israeli attack was designed to conceal the relationship between Khartoum and Hamas. That's their form of Hamas, basically. Now, the reports coming out of Israel says that the Hamas defends tunnel openings that are designed to contain masses of terrorists. Must be large, and we watched that big fire burn all day yesterday. It was some type of fuel depot also, but that hill could have been a beehive. Says Shimon Peres says we must win the war. Hamas planned a massacre in Israel. There's a video, I'm going to put it on the website, that shows a lot of Arabs coming out of the tunnels there, and in an exchange of gunfire. 2 terror cells were met by IDF forces after emerging from the Gaza tunnel. Air Force strikes first cell, ground troops kill some terrorists in the second cell. And again, in the video, you can see as they kind of come up there. And so it's a desperate situation on both sides. Now, what is happening on the financial market? Remember what Christine Lagarde told us about this date. I don't understand the numerology, but it was a warning, and she came out Friday with another warning. But anyway, U.S. stocks declined on Monday. Europe shares are lower, all on the Ukraine and the Israeli conflict. Asia stocks lower on geopolitical risk. IMF head Christine Lagarde warned, this was Friday, financial markets may be a little too upbeat given the persistently high levels of unemployment and debt in European economies. I did this 2 years ago, guys. I talked about the austerity and how it would crush Europe as each country accepted the Euro-Nazi blitz, again without tanks but with banks. Now, here's what's happening. Over the last week, widespread solidarity rallies have been taking place all over Europe, in Vienna, Paris, and London. That's with Gaza. Hundreds of protesters have gathered outside the BBC broadcasting house in Belfast today. Expressing their concerns is what they're seeing as biased reporting by the BBC on the Israeli military offensive in Gaza. In France, Jewish-owned businesses in a synagogue were targeted in the suburb of Sarcelles, just outside of Paris. Shops were looted. 18 people were arrested as Jews went on a rampage during Sunday's protests, which had been banned by the authorities. The mayor of Sarcelles says the Jewish community there is in fear. A lot going on, a lot of pressure, and the harder Israel attacks, the harder the international pressure is going to come. And it may come down to seeing a large United Nations troop deployment into the area, and that will be something to see within itself and how well they can be able to control the two sides. In other words, if they come in and you see a UN, basically a demilitarized zone, and they already have that, on Mount Hermon, just north of Israel. But if they come in with that, how well can they control the tunnels and the weapons coming in? Because the fight will not stop between Israel and the Muslim world until Christ sets his foot down on this earth. So we are getting very close to some biblical prophecies, including possibly a gathering of the armies in Armageddon, guys. It's a heads up. Watch the markets. I'll put a link to Market Watch. Be safe.